Those who know how to collect experience points in Hunt Showdown very fast are of course also the ones who have quicker access to beautiful weapons that many like so much. But it also allows you to prestige faster and unlock those pretty skins. Or the imposing prestige badges. But there is actually quite a bit to consider if you want to level up quickly, and it's possible to blast through an entire prestige level in just 7 hours. How it works and how you can do it is the topic in today's video. First of all, we have to address the elephant in the room. What is quicker? Retire or level up your hunter to level 50 and then keep playing? To answer this question once and for all, I used a lot of Excel sheets, formulas and so on to finally answer that very question. First, we have to understand how the bloodline level actually works, because the experience points that you get after each match go straight into your hunter, not your bloodline. But certain levels of your hunter are milestones that unlock some experience points for your bloodline. The only exception, if your hunter is already at level 50, all the XP that you gained go directly to your bloodline. This is very important to understand. Also, the experience needed to level up your hunter keeps increasing. At the beginning, it's only 100, 200, 300, but at the end it goes up to 500, 600 per level. Graphically, you probably don't see that much of a difference. So let me work some magic, and there you go. This is the total XP required to level up your hunter to level 25 versus level 50 shown graphically. As you can see, that's a hefty difference. But as you level up, we also gain some bloodline XP. So what's better? Here, the comparison. The bloodline experience in orange versus the total experience that we need to get to those levels in yellow. Plus, dark yellow is just the bonus XP that we would get if we retire our hunter. So we see the point that is closest to both lines is at level 25, 26 to be precise. But why? Quite simple. If we assume that we reach the required amount of experience points each round that is required to get our hunter to level 25, we can retire him after each raid, which gives us a constant flow of experience into our bloodline. But if we go for the 50 hunter, then we have a pretty strong loss at the beginning because we just have to build our hunter first. It's only at 50 that it really starts to pay off, because the experience points again go then directly into your bloodline and no longer into your hunter level. But that is assuming that we survive 10 raids in a row, which from my experience, especially playing solo, is not pretty realistic in Hunt Showdown. So if we go for a more realistic approach and die every 3 to 4 rounds, then it suddenly doesn't look too good. Because if we never reach level 50, or we only ever just reach it, then it would be better if we just retire the hunters. So bottom line, if you want to level up fast, especially if you're playing solo and not surviving 10 rounds in a row, then by all means send your hunters into his early and well-deserved retirement. Now that this very controversial issue is finally settled, the question now is, how many experience points do we need per round to reach level 25? And how do we get that much? Now, the easiest and fastest way to get experience is by doing the objective. Simply finding bosses, killing them, banishing and extracting with a bounty. Especially with the extraction daily bonus of 15%. So only doing the objectives and successfully extracting gives you around 4,000 experience points each raid. But that's not enough to get your hunter to level 25. For that we need a total of 7,100 experience points. Now if we take away the daily bonus and the prestige bonus, if you chose the 10% XP bonus, that means we need 5,612 experience points total. That in turn means we are missing 1,700 points. And that again means, well, we have to kill some mobs on the way. Those are all the monsters in Hunt Showdown and how much experience points they give you. So if you encounter a couple of meatheads, a couple armors, some hives, some grunts, you are already very close to those 1,700. But again, there are some tips and tricks on how to do it more easily and more efficiently. And that brings us to loadouts. Now from my experience around trial and error, there were two loadouts that really stood out. Both of them are available very early, very efficient, very cheap. First one is the Romero with penny shot and just some kind of pistol as a secondary that allows you to fight on mid-range. For example, a Cobra Pax. On the other hand, we have the Winfield with the speed ammo and a silent pistol. Now, why exactly these two? For one, the penny shot kills everything along the way, mostly with one shot. Even meatheads only require 3 shots out of this gun. And then you just got yourself 200 experience points with 3 shots without using a dynamite. And that is amazing. It also does an incredible amount of damage against bosses, also against hunters, but here I would switch to the regular ammo because you have 2 slots. You have a secondary ammunition and your primary, so you can still use the regular buckshot against hunters. Then the Winfield. It's an absolute beast at medium range, as you probably know from my last video, while the pistol on the other hand lets us farm everything that moves basically, especially hives yield a lot of experience points with this gun. The disadvantage, of course, if you go in close range fights, especially in the boss layer, you are at a huge disadvantage with your Winfield. So if you get a perk like leveling or fanning, then this loadout can be amazing. Otherwise, I would advise that you stick to the penny shot. Those are of course only starting loadouts. As you level up, you can make up your own. For consumables, I would definitely recommend that you bring some sort of heal and additionally a stamina shot. Furthermore, 2 sticky bombs, one for the boss, one for potentially a second boss or a meathead on the way. Now, how do we unlock things as quickly as possible? Especially for penny shots, it's pretty straightforward. You just have to play with the weapon and gain experience points with it. So just kill everything in your path. The XP is credited to the weapon that deals the last shot. So you can last shot bosses as well to get additional 400 experience to the weapon. Now this is probably best done when you're on your way to the exit, because otherwise you will rebuild your position when you just shoot everything in your path. But that will eventually unlock everything you need for the weapons that you require. With the consumables, it's a bit different. For the stamina shot, the easiest way is pick a free hunter, buy 4 cheap syringes, go into raid, look for a friendly armored or grunt, and just pop 1 syringe after another. Then leave the raid. You have to use a total of 15 shots to unlock the stamina shot currently in the game. So in combination, that can be done very fast. And then we already have everything we need in terms of loadout. But now to the playstyle. I personally played the challenge solo against duos, but of course you can do it as a duo or in a trio, which should be easier because the experience points are shared across the whole group. So if anybody kills an armored on the way, you all get the 60 experience points for that one. But it doesn't really matter if you go solo, duo or trio, it works with every composition. Now the start is pretty similar as with the money farming guide I did a few weeks ago. You wanna pop your stamina shot and then just try to rush the location of the boss. So find all the clues as fast as possible, find the layer and kill him. The only difference here is that we want to get as much experience on the way as possible. Now I wouldn't deter for every zombie, but for hives, armored, meatheads and so on, everything that gives a little bit of XP, definitely try to kill them on the way. Don't worry all too much about the noise you make, because you usually move towards the center of the map, so other hunters are usually behind us and not in front. Now it can of course happen that, well, we're just unlucky the boss spawned right in front of another group. Then it's up to you, you can go and fight them. It's possible to make enough XP, especially with PvP still, but it can also be viable to just leave or disconnect to not lose too much time. But let's assume for now we are the first ones at the boss. Then hopefully you still have a sticky nade ready, because we want to kill the boss as fast as possible. Except for, of course, if it's the assassin, then just, put the whole room on fire and try to knife him as fast as possible. With the stamina shot, no problem. I wouldn't bring a poison bomb, to be honest, because if it's not the assassin, you just wasted a very valuable slot. Then after the boss is done, you banish. And now it's very likely that other hunters move in or are already there. Now you have to remind yourself of your main goal. We want to get a lot of experience points. We are not here to wipe the whole server, so PvP is secondary, but we want to prevent them from stealing our loot. What has worked for me pretty well in my raids is to be somewhat aggressive. I wanted to prevent other hunters from getting into my house, because once they're inside, they usually push. But if they're just on the same compound, and as soon as they approach they get a hit or two, they were suddenly not so keen on pushing anymore. So all you have to do is try to keep enemy hunters at distance until the banishing is completed. Then pick up a bounty and check if you can see a gap. Usually the other hunters are not around you 360 degrees. Often you have a gap somewhere which you can use to escape. Once we set to move, three things can happen. Sometimes the other team just goes in and gets the other bounty and is happy with that. Sometimes multiple teams meet and fight each other while we can comfortably run away. But sometimes we get chased. And if that happens, it's very important that you run towards the exit, but also do a little mind game with your chasers. Whenever you run across a space that is very open, what you can do is just wait there. Wait until the other approach, shoot at them a couple of times and then keep moving. They will not know if it's safe to approach, which will stop their assault for a short amount of time. But by the time they realize that we're not even waiting there anymore, but have moved on, we have already got a very good head start again. Now on the way we also want to kill as many mobs as possible, just a little bit more careful and more selectively, because we don't want to lose too much time, especially if they'll catch up to us. If we manage to get out successfully with the bounty, we should reach the required 7,100 experience points together with the mobs that we killed on the way. And this means we can retire our hunter right away. This usually results in around 4,000 experience points to our bloodline. And that in turn means that if we're really good, playing it very clean every round, we can complete an entire prestige level in just 25 runs. That would mean that in theory, assuming every raid takes around 15 to 20 minutes, we can complete a whole prestige level in around 7 hours. Now I personally tried it on stream and for me it was 9 hours, which I think is okay. It was pretty challenging because, well, it wasn't 5 stars and you don't have that much room for error, but it was fun and I learned a lot. But I would recommend that you just take your time, you know. It's just to show what would be possible and how to do it. Furthermore, again, in duos or trios, I'd say it's much easier because you still have teammates in case you do a mistake that can turn it around. You're able to kill way more mobs in the same amount of time and it's way more chill when you play with other people. I'm gonna try that challenge next week. I'm gonna put my insights on doing a duo or trio run in the comment section down below with the amount of time that it required for this challenge. But I'm assuming it's gonna be less than 9 hours. But anyways, this is everything on how you can gain much more XP, much faster, pretty efficiently and conveniently. I hope it was helpful as always. Do not forget to thumbs up as it really helps the channel. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you have questions or anything, put them there as well. I will read those, don't worry. And subscribe for more and I'll see you all in the next video. Good luck.